Welcome everybody to I don't know what podcast it is. You say
Let's say 10.
it's all right. Let's go 10.
It's
All
not
right, 10. Episode. It's not just the number that counts. We have got a super awesome podcast and a special guest to come on tonight and speak. Now, Christian, this is how we start things. I say I'm Cody Selsby, member of part of the Rough Riders, Franklin County Rough Riders that Brian King saddled with that name, and let's go around and I'll say to my right, and you say your name.
I'm Christian Olson, candidate for Land Commissioner.
And on to his right is
Eric Spuss.
and right down there on the end,
Old Joey.
Shelby. Yeah, that's our professional introduction. I don't know how, but that's what we normally do. But
Nice.
Christian Olson sitting down with us, and
Wait, we're missing somebody tonight because he had a birthday party to go to, or he was arrested.
oh,
He's still here, but
Casey.
he's got to go. He's
Casey. Well, Casey, the part, contrary to popular belief, we aren't into the millions of dollars with this podcast yet. So we also have real life things we got to do.
we're taking it out of his paycheck.
And Casey has to be with his. No, let me say that. Casey is blessed enough to spend a birthday party with his family tonight, and he can't sit here and ramble with us. But he's our tech everything podcast.
Guru. He
Yeah,
spent an hour here showing us how to turn it on.
Yeah.
And off. Push this.
Yeah. But Christian, man, thanks for bringing your wife and coming to Franklin County.
And kids.
And the kids are outside playing, and welcome to the country.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
We'll just, this is impromptu, and our tens and tens of followers on our podcast. Our feedback is always
Love you all.
yeah. See, Casey. You got to see. They said they took you over to the prison site and stuff, but you got to see a little bit of Franklin County today. So
Yes, I did.
yeah.
That's right.
Well, Cody, let's. I want to hear about his ride down. So he come from Little Rock, right?
Yeah.
Little Rock area.
That's right. I like to say I'm from Little Rock, but I try not to act like it.
We appreciate that. How many years have you been in politics?
26 years.
26
I started
years.
as a teenager working on campaigns.
But-
yeah.
But he still came down to
Yeah.
be on the podcast. And then the first thing he says, I'd like to see the site. So we go out there. And my first question on the way out, one of the first questions was, how was the roads?
Not that great.
No.
That's a fair answer, and because infrastructure has been a big part of this thing, and Brian King will say there's grass growing in the road, and we're like, yeah, it's depending on who you listen to, but yeah, we get a raw opinion of what you think about the roads and the conditions of the infrastructure, so.
When we pulled up there, Melissa, Crystal's wife, first thing she said was, no wonder y'all don't want a prison here. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Why would you put a prison here?
Yeah. And we're talking to his wife off camera here, but my family lives south of that prison property and borders the fence for about 1.5 miles. So when, I think of my, you want to get to another level of country and rural, my dad still milks a cow. They plow the garden with horses. I'm talking country and rural, but, we think of what that prison might do, the noise, the light pollution, and it just breaks my heart for my dad, and because he's worked his whole life to just like any other, to set us up with that. And then here he is at 83 having to watch this go down, everything he's worked for and stretched and gifts. So anyway, I don't want to get on that we can go on prison stuff, but we'll get on that enough. But
It means a lot to Cody.
yeah.
But it even means more that you coming all the way down
Sure.
here.
Yes.
And we can't get most of the senators to do that. And you're running for land commissioner, which is a state-held job, a statewide election, a huge, and you've been traveling. How many counties have you been to?
Oh,
Most of them, not all of them. I was actually looking at a map the other day. I was picking out the counties that I don't think I've been to yet. And it's just a couple, but and yeah, it's just a few.
well, it's very we look at it as that you respect us enough, to come where we want to get the word out on this, and in somebody of your stature and you're in your position and your knowledge that you're running for gives us your time, and we're very thankful for that. So
Well,
appreciate that.
I appreciate that, but I certainly don't see myself as having much stature or being very
Wow.
important. And
Well,
so
Well,
Yeah,
I'll argue that. I'll argue
Don't argue
that all
that.
day long because just having conversations with it, you taking your time, bringing your family down, letting them jump on the trampoline, just being a normal, living the normal life. That's not what we have right now in Arkansas politics.
But one of the things that I think is beneficial to me running for office and having worked on campaigns since I was a teenager is, I've always been a Republican. My dad was a Republican, and when I told him I was interested in politics, the first Republicans that knocked on the door, he volunteered me to start working with. And that was literally my entry into politics. And at that time, Republicans lost a lot more races than we won.
Oh yeah, sure.
But where we won, it was because the Republicans took the time to go out and talk to people. Because you learn real quickly that what happens in your community and the issues that you care about will always matter more than the party label.
Absolutely.
And so when Republicans won, it was because they took the time to talk to people. They took the time to listen to people. And you have to understand that we won't always agree on everything.
Correct.
But if
We're going to try to test you to the limit here.
You know what? The League Commissioner's Office role is fairly limited in what it does. And so one of the nice things about running for this particular job is I can say, yeah, that doesn't really have anything to do with the job. But
my new, yeah.
not my monkeys, not my circus.
Right.
Sometimes, right? But on the other hand, I do think that you as a voter have the right to understand how my mind is going to work and approach things.
100%.
Because I can say I'm pro-family, I'm pro-life, pro-guns, all the things that a conservative should be.
Right.
But ultimately, you're trusting me to make decisions on your behalf.
Correct.
And that's a that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
It should be.
And
It should be, and it should be felt on your shoulders because it is a big deal. You got I mean, gosh, there's going to be probably 500,000 votes come up, 600, 900. What are y'all projecting?
if you look at past statewide Republican primaries, it's going to be roughly 325,000 votes. If 180,000 go for me, I've won the primary. And since there's no Democrat in this election, I've won the whole thing.
Mhm.
So I need to get 180,000 people, probably 170,000 of them I've never met.
I don't know. I tell you what, everywhere you and your family have been, they left thinking that they're part of that family. So y'all done a really good job of promoting the Republican thought process and traits.
I appreciate that. And that means the world to us because I can't tell you the number of counties I've been to. I can tell you we've crossed the 16,000 mile mark
Yeah.
just going out trying to talk to people because.
But it is a nice van.
Well,
It's a 2016. It's so beat up. We've thrown the boys' bikes in the back of the van when we take them to the park to ride. Like, there you go. Oh, it's a.
No, it's a 911, honestly. Yeah, we took one to Florida one time. And that was like,
it's
ride.
It's a comfortable ride.
You bet.
It is a good vehicle.
well, Christian, we're going to dance all over the place with questions.
Yeah.
we hope this it lets people see you. They see your wholesomeness.
Right.
You are a real person. You are a dad. You are a husband. And I noticed one of the first things when I was looking on your website, votechristian.com. Did I get that right?
That's right.
And said the first thing, big letters, pro-family. And that means a lot. Now, here I am, 54, never been married, don't have no kids. But I'm raised in a big, loud Baptist family. And our dinners and our Thanksgivings and Christmases are full of chaos and kids and stuff. And that's the way I was raised. And I'm so thankful for that. And I love to see, everybody's going to say, well, I really appreciate my wife for standing behind me and my kids for being good. But I want people, you want them to know I am a dad. We do homework. We do have earaches. We do have discussions and stuff. So talk a little bit about what your family means to you.
No, God.
That's such a big question, and it's hard to know where to start. From a political point of view, just because this is a campaign, I look at it as we want strong families,
Absolutely.
right? We want the government out of the way so that people can put together and build their families as the way that they think is best, right? That's one of the reasons why I loved politics and got interested in the first place, is that's what America was founded on, is people leaving the control of their governments in Europe and coming to the United States and building a new life for them. You know, the Pilgrims came so that they could practice their worship the way they wanted to. And these days, there's so many competing value systems, right?
Yeah.
We homeschool our children.
Oh yeah,
I was
six,
homeschooled.
6, 7. No,
My son was asking me about that.
Yeah,
My
right.
10-year-old son was
So-
asking me, what is 6, 7? It's like, I don't know. That's the problem with it.
we was
It's
in
meaningless.
Mansfield, and I come up there. I've been talking to Christian for a while, and I'm in the bathroom, and I don't realize this is his son in the bathroom. And I look on the wall, and I'm like, and I look over at the boys. He's 19 years old, and I said 6, 7. You heard that? Okay. He looks at me and goes, what? And I said, bro, 6, 7. He goes, I don't know what that means. And I kept,
But he can tell you why communism is bad.
yes, exactly.
Christian, before we get too much on 6, 7, but just tell us about your wife, tell us about your kids.
Oh boy. So,
And it better be good.
Yeah.
okay. So the funniest story, I think, is we met at church. And that's fine. That's fine. That's
Oh.
good. But she,
I've been trying for 50.
Go ahead. But there's a Bible study at her parents' house. And I was an ROTC at the time. She didn't particularly want to be a military spouse. And I thought she was very pretty, but she sat quietly, just listened and never talked. And well, I have an interest in politics. So I thought, I can't be with a girl with no personality. And so,
Oh, she's got lots of personality.
so nothing came of it. Right. Until later, a few years later, after college and everything, I had an extra ticket to a Lincoln Day dinner, you know, one of the Republican fundraisers. So I thought, well, I know a pretty girl and I've been trying to get a date for I don't know how long. So I offered her the ticket. She came with me. So our first date was at a Republican fundraiser in 2012.
Met her at church. It was just meant to be.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
And so as I go around and talk to Republican groups around the state, I tell them our first date was at a Republican fundraiser in 2012. But then later we got engaged that same year in Tampa, Florida at the 2012 Republican National Convention.
Goodness, you're checking all the awesome boxes.
I know.
So
Firstborn child's going to be the president.
Yeah, they're both up there.
good. That might be true. The second born is the one who's going to knife anybody. Like,
He's
I
the
know.
assassin.
He's quiet. He doesn't miss anything, and he is fearless. The oldest one, he loves everybody. Everybody loves him.
Yeah.
But they're so much fun to take on the campaign trail because they both love people. And we had a birthday party for the younger one, and he's quieter. He doesn't like to talk so much. But we had a big party for him, and at the end, I was like, "Do you want to say anything?" I 100% expected him to say no. Instead, it just goes, "Thank you, everybody." Like, hey,
Yeah.
right there.
I say kids with, this is my personal deal, but kids with personality will excel. I just feel that. I mean, they can talk, they can walk up, they can shake hands, they can.
You're confident.
And it turns out,
it's a sense of confidence.
and it turns out they get that from their mother. Because like you said, as I found out later, she has personality in spades. So it's,
Oh goodness. Well, you get it. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. And like I say, there's several important things, but part of doing a podcast and getting out there, letting people know who you are and let them,
Yeah.
just that's awesome. Family's a big thing with me.
yeah. And one thing I want to say about family too is, I went from working on campaigns to working in the land commissioner's office. And then from the land commissioner's office, I took some other jobs. I worked with the state, went from
So
one agency.
you were in the land commissioner office prior to running for the. So
That's right.
did that make you want
Yes.
to be a land commissioner?
It did. Now, I'll be honest, when I got hired, I had no idea what the land commissioner's office did, but somebody offered me a job and it had insurance and it had, a
So
big boy paycheck.
Let's back up right there. So what year was this first?
I got hired in 2012. I spent all of 2012 and 2013 working in the land commissioner's office. So I worked under John Thurston,
And what
first Republican.
What was your experience prior to this?
So I worked for a policy group, the Advanced Arkansas Institute, which was a small government, limited government, transparent government think tank. Started by a guy who had worked for the Heritage Foundation and the Cato Institute. So very conservative, very libertarian. And I got to really understand really how to approach policy. And I went to school at UCA, took some economics classes, and those economics classes that focused on cost benefit, the supply and demand curve, how government can't really make things better, right? Really helped for that particular position.
Yeah, you see both
But
sides.
right. And it's cost benefit, right?
Yeah.
Almost every decision in policy is you can accomplish anything you want to, but is it worth the cost?
Oh, right.
And that's really one of the reasons why I lead with pro family, right?
Yeah.
Because having worked for the state, we had some family issues, health wise, both my son, my mother, and some others. And I got tired of asking for permission to go to the doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
Because with the state, you get 8 hours of annual leave each month, you get 8 hours of sick leave. And once you use it up, they've got some ways to help you by pooling it. You can donate to other people and so on and so forth. But we got to the point where it wasn't worth it. This was during COVID. And so when our son had a doctor's appointment, we were split up. We hardly saw each other for, long stretches of time. So coming out of that is like, it was a nice job. It was a good job, but nothing beats being with family. At that point, my mom.
How did you get the job?
So part of that was going back to being active in the Republican Party and being active. A friend of mine that
So they knew you had.
Yeah.
So
a large part of politics, when it works well, is when your team wins, they want to find people who have similar values, right? If you think that the goal should be to shrink the influence of government and to expand the influence of you as an individual or your family, then you want people on your team to want to do the same thing, right?
Right.
If you win office, you don't want to hire a bunch of people who are actively opposing everything you're trying to do.
I don't know. I kind of like a little bit of both sides. So I'm a little different on that because, I like people to argue that have a little bit of, I want to see your side of the fence because until I'm right, until I'm proven wrong.
And Christian, he will not ever admit when he's wrong.
Yeah, I gladly will. I gladly will.
So,
but you got to prove me wrong. I'm not going to give up because I like that being challenged.
You like that banter back and forth.
Yeah, I like the challenge.
Well, you're honest. And so you're not going to pretend to agree to something
that I don't agree with.
until you actually agree with it.
Right.
That's something that I share where I don't really pretend to agree with something if I don't agree.
Well, that's good. That's the people we need. That's called
morals.
Yeah, that's morals and being an adult.
And it causes conflicts between me and my wife sometimes
Absolutely.
because I don't always if I don't agree, I don't.
Okay, well, we're talking about eyes. I'm not give up because I'm lost already. You are stronger than I thought.
But
you can listen to an argument.
But I didn't say that. I did not say that. But ultimately, we know we're on the same side.
Right.
And so when I don't agree with her, it's not because I want her to fail. It's because I want her to succeed. I just see a different way of getting there. And it's the same thing for when she doesn't agree with me. We're on the same team. We almost always want to be going in the same direction, which is why we had our first date the last day of April and we got engaged August 24th. That was a short time. Of course, we knew each other before from church and things like that. But we knew that we shared the same fundamental values. And I think that ideally politics is the same way, where if we can agree on some of the big picture things, then we can start negotiating the best way of getting there.
That is how it should. That's
how it should be. But a large part of that, and one of the reasons why I think it's so important to get out and to talk to people and to listen, is to make sure that we do feel like we're working towards something in common.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
That's the best part of politics. That's what makes politics exciting.
Yeah.
That's when it's working.
When it works, when it's like,
right.
What is something in the land commissioner office that has worked well that you could think of? What is something, we can all think of negative things. Going to a job, like if I'm looking at a job that I want to do, I know everything I can fix, or I think I could fix, or I feel like I could fix, but what is going well?
So in order to say what's going well, we probably should talk about what the land commissioner's office does.
Okay.
Right.
Let's go back.
So 90% of what the office does is sell tax delinquent properties. Okay. So the way it works is if you don't pay your real estate taxes, your county collector is going to send you nasty mail for about 2 years saying pay your taxes.
Is this 2 years?
It takes about 2 years.
I thought you had 5.
Well, at the end of the 2 years, the county collector will certify those parcels, those properties to the land commissioner. And the land commissioner will send you nasty mail for about another 2 years.
Okay.
So the whole process ends up being about 4 years.
Short. I got to write a check.
Well, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I do have a funny story on that, but we'll come back to that real quick.
but go ahead and continue with that though. This
Yeah.
is good stuff.
So
What do you think?
it is about a 4-year process between the taxes being owed and then the land going to the land commissioner's office to be sold, right? It takes 2 years to get to the land commissioner's office. And so a huge part of what the land commissioner's office does is try to contact who has a recorded ownership interest in the property and try to contact them and say, pay your taxes, because the last thing the land commissioner's office wants is to sell those properties. Sure. They just want the taxes.
Right.
Well, that's good that those taxes be
And they do have good people.
They do.
Okay.
They do.
That's a big part of it, right? Because if you had a greedy person, be like, "Oh, could get hold of him."
That's right.
Yeah.
And it serves a really good purpose when it goes to the counties. Right? The counties, they have tight budgets. They're trying to respond to their
Absolutely.
constituents the way that they should. So they can't borrow money easily. And it's possible to borrow money, but it's a horrible, painful
Oh, that's
process.
tough. Borrowing
Right.
money's tough.
And then they can't print money. They're not the federal government. Right?
That's correct.
And so, as you all know, in a rural county, there isn't really necessarily the sales tax that can pay for things like up in Benton County. So there was a move in this last legislative session to reduce the assessed value of real estate. And, a bunch of counties that I went to were very upset with that because they don't have the sales tax. In fact, we were in Searcy County, and one of the guys running for county judge said, "Did you know you can't buy a pair of shoes in all of Searcy County?
Huh.
You have to go north to Harrison or
Really?
south to
You
Clinton.
can't buy shoes.
There's no place that sells shoes in all of Searcy County." If what he told me is true. It's
I've
right,
met people there. I believe it. They probably don't want
I mean, you just, we'll want to go back to that, but we don't think about that stuff,
No.
and I was, I've been on the Chamber of Commerce, and by default, I was the president for 3 years, and
nice.
I don't know how many Chamber of Commerces in Arkansas had a rodeo clown.
He got up last night, the rodeo clown outfit at that quorum court. He did.
No, I'll tell you later. And so here I am. All of a sudden, you're the president, and I'm in my little town where I grew up in, went to school, played football, grew up in, and I'm like, and I have run my mouth about we need more options to shop and eat, and all of a sudden, there you go, buddy, get it. And where I am, I'm Amazon Prime or well, so really what all that did was make me assess the town and Ozark and other communities that are in around us, and like, man, shopping local really means something.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt, but just to jump in here. One of the things that we are all prone to do is thinking that the way we think things should be is the way it ought to be for everybody.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the
Absolutely.
default.
I
And
get
so,
that.
It is
just
a
going,
default.
so just going back to Searcy County, the reason why they don't have a Walmart is because they didn't want the Walmart.
Yeah.
That's why it went south to Clinton. And
I don't
so,
like that.
right.
I get that. That's
And so one of the reasons why I like to talk about the counties and why I try to travel all across Arkansas and get to learn as much as I can and see as much as I can is because I think local government should be able to decide how they want to do things and do things their way.
That sounds like a libertarian.
yeah.
I have some very strong libertarian opinions, but part of that is I am a Christian. I believe, I am a strong believer in my faith. I have a certain idea of how human nature works. And that's the main thing that keeps me from being completely libertarian because there is an order, there's a human nature there. We all need a bit of accountability.
If you'll hang out for a little bit, I want you to talk to Code after about that. But so in something that leads us to the next subject is we do get in our own bubble and we think, this and until I got involved in my Chamber of Commerce, which led into running for Justice of the Peace, and which led into, which doesn't mean anything. I mean, I'm just as country as cornbread, but I would run my mouth. Well, we need this, and well, why don't we have that? And the sheriff needs to do this, and that county judge better bring me some gravel. And well, once you get involved in that, then you're like, then I can't
afford that gravel.
Like, listen, guys, you don't know how it works, and so I spend a lot of my time, hopefully, giving back to my community and trying to create that that bond. And
You know, what's really interesting? You rarely see two people who understand the job of a county judge running for the same job at the same time. It's usually one person doesn't know and runs and then understands it, and then the next person who doesn't know runs and tries to to compete.
kind of what I've seen in our area and stuff, and studying it and stuff. Some people don't get involved until they're mad,
That's right.
and they're mad at the sheriff, and he didn't call me back, or he didn't do this, and I know this. We had Johnny Crocker, our sheriff.
I don't think I'd be mad at our sheriff.
No, he'll beat you up. Well, he's a jiu-jitsu black belt.
But he will beat you up.
But so I toss him. I act like I'm on him all the time. But until the people understand that, like, I'm going to run against sheriff, and I'm going to get you some, and get in there, and then you'll see that you'll see your budget. We've got cars that are on jacks, and we're needing oil changes, and we're needing.
Well, Christian lived. He worked under a land commission before, and then he chose to choose that route. Right.
Right.
What are you doing? What is your previous job? What was the last thing that you did for the governor's office?
Well, so I left the land commissioner's office, worked on campaign, worked in the governor's office, and then from there went to the agriculture department. And I did not know a whole lot about agriculture when I went to the ag department, but I was there for about 3 years, and I got to learn a lot about Arkansas agriculture. And I'm really grateful for that opportunity because it is our largest industry.
Absolutely.
Farmers are going through very tough times, especially the row
tough
crop.
right now.
Yeah.
Now the poultry farm is under attack.
Oh yeah.
Row croppers in eastern Arkansas and poultry folks in western Arkansas.
Yeah.
It's a tough time.
Yeah.
And so one of the best things that came from my time at the agriculture department was I got to do the LEADAR program through the Cooperative Extension Service, the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture, and they took us through, and we really got to do a deep dive into different aspects of Arkansas agriculture, whether it's forestry, poultry, row crop. And that was really helpful to me to understand how, Arkansas has different regions, different focuses on the agriculture industry, and how it kind of comes together. Just have a better understanding of how it fits together. But from there, I was asked to move over to the state securities department, where we regulated investment advisors and broker dealers, and got into the financial industry. And I actually had more experience going into the financial industry than I did with agriculture, partly because when I was in the governor's office under ASA, I was the liaison to the securities department and the board of public accountancy and some other things. But I was at the state securities department as deputy commissioner.
I gotta grab this.
I know what it is.
And
We go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We'll go back and edit it out.
that's fine.
So go ahead.
So from the agriculture department, I moved to the state securities department. At the state securities department, I was deputy commissioner. And that meant that I was in charge of basically the administration for the whole agency.
Mhm.
So I ended up being largely responsible for the hiring of most of the staff. And I took the agency through audit cycles and budget cycles and just learned the ropes of the nuts and bolts of how the agency actually runs.
Yeah.
And that's something I think would be hugely beneficial if I were to get this position in the land commissioner's office. But after the securities department, I started working for myself. And so I bought some rental properties, and that's something that we've been doing. It's allowed us to campaign. And
There you go.
but talking about what the land commissioner's office does, we were up at a dinner in Washington County. So we were in Springdale, and I brought my property tax bills with me because I can't run for land commissioner. My property taxes be missed.
Right.
And so we got up there, and then I found a quiet corner, and I paid my taxes online, and everything was good. But it was October 15th. It was the deadline.
Oh yeah.
And so we go through the dinner, and everything is great. And then I reach in my pocket. I find I had one I missed. I was like, oh no. But I was able to find it and pay it and keep my name out of the paper and all that stuff.
That's free advertisement.
Yeah. So just remember, everybody, the deadline is October 15th to pay your taxes. So just keep that in mind.
I think I don't know. Just tell me, and Eric, you might notice this too. Now they're putting banners up in the courthouse lawn. You see that about paying taxes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's pretty simple, pretty cheap way of reminding people. I think that's the biggest thing is life is so fast.
But Yeah, and for most people, you've got a mortgage on your house, right?
Yeah.
And the interest and the mortgage, the taxes, it's all rolled into one payment,
Yeah.
right? And so a lot of people, a lot of people, they pay off their mortgage and life is good, and they weren't in the habit of paying their taxes,
Mhm.
and suddenly it becomes their job to pay their taxes, and they just forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that happens, but a lot of the time, it's because the property owner ends up passing away and the children don't go through the probate process, or they don't change the title on the property, and then they pass away and it goes to their children, but there's not a actual record at the courthouse of it going from one person to the other.
Yeah.
And so part of my job when I worked there was when people would come in to pay their taxes, at that time you had to show a chain of title that showed that you could pay the taxes. They've changed that now, so anybody can pay the taxes, but part of that was showing, here this person's death certificate, here's my mom's birth certificate, here's her death certificate, here's my birth certificate. And so that's in order to get to Colt's question about what the office can do better. One of the things I think that they really do well and they need to keep doing is customer service. Because when people are coming in to pay their taxes on their property to try to keep it from being sold,
Right.
you want to make that as painless as possible. Because
yeah.
when people would walk in the door, they would see me and they didn't want to be seeing me, right? They weren't there because they don't wanted to be there.
Yeah.
They were there because we were threatening to sell their property.
Yeah.
Which is the point, right?
Yeah.
But if they come through the door and they want to pay, then we want to make that as easy as possible. And so you show them to put your name on this line, put your address here, and we look up the parcel number for them because nobody walks around with parcel numbers in their head, right? And then I became a notary so that we could stamp their paperwork, process their payment, get their land off the books, and send them on their way.
Yeah.
Just make it easy.
Oh yeah, that's I'm sitting here listening to you, going like, yes, I need help. I need you to help. But it's just something you don't do every day,
Right.
and you just do it every so often. And just the world is fast. We live in a fast-paced world, and it's just it jumps up on you. You didn't get this together. You didn't, and that's it's refreshing to hear you say that you want to help make it easier because people show up bowed up, mad, or, probably upset. It's been a death in the family and troubles, and that you just if you just say a friendly face like, "Hey, we're gonna help you take care of this," something
Right.
like that,
That's right.
and that's cool.
Yeah, it is amazing how being intentional about being kind, being patient,
Mhm.
how much that can diffuse a lot of anxiety, right?
Absolutely,
The
absolutely.
the Bible says that a soft answer turns away wrath. That is very true.
Yeah.
If you can be gentle with somebody who's not in a gentle mood,
Right.
sometimes it doesn't work, but a lot of the time,
But it's good. It's good to start out with it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was
because you can always turn it up and say, "You've had 4 years to pay this. Don't get mad at me."
when an example of this is I got pulled over the other night, and I listen. I feel when I was JP. I mean, I don't mean this to sound like it's constant complaining on the sheriff's part because it wasn't, but I was in charge of helping the sheriff. What I felt like create a bond with people. Everybody, they don't support the sheriff. Don't like them. Leave us alone. Stay off my lawn until somebody's climbing in your window.
Right.
And then the sheriff, I gotta have you. And so one of the things I wanted to do was just like you're talking about. I wanted our deputies to have a good demeanor. I want them to have a friendly face. I want them to be fair and just. But at the same time, we're in a rural area. You're dealing with hillbillies, and I want them, So I have my own way that I want the sheriff. So to run, not telling how to run his company or his department, but encouraging him to keep these young guys,
Yeah.
let them know this, the eager is to the old guys that are old and cranky.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get pulled over. Oh, I'm thinking all the things I did wrong for the last 20 years. But was my tags on it. What I do, when I passed him, he was sitting on the road, and I was like, ooh, he's got his lap, and he's parked, just for the record, so somebody flips out. He's parked, got his laptop up, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I wonder what we did. I'm thinking what we did to our cruisers, because I'm all about giving our law enforcement and our EMTs the tools they need.
Sure.
And I was kind of like, hey, he's looking like he's got it going on in there. Here comes the blue lights. And pull over. Well, this is what I do. I do this. I'm not fearful of cops, and I don't, but I know I've done 150 hours of training with the sheriff department. And I remember some of this training. I just turn on my cab lights, roll my windows down, and put my hands up on the steering wheel. Now, I didn't fear for my life, but I was like, I'm going to help this guy out a little bit. I mean, I don't have dark windows, but
Right.
So anyway, he comes up, and that guy was super nice. And he's like, the reason I pulled you over is your tags were just a little bit out of date. And people listening around here will, and I was like, what? And I drive this truck all over the United States to rodeos. And I got to thinking, well, my tags were expired. And I was like, well, I was just at the courthouse. I was up at the sheriff's department here last week. I was at City Hall. He like, I wanted to say, nope, my friends didn't pull me over. That's what I was wanting to tell him. Like, but anyway, the point of my story is he was very professional. And hey, man, I get it. Life gets fast, and he was just super nice. And I'm going to email his mayor and tell him that I appreciate that. That's what he made the process easier and
Right.
good. And so just to go back to what you're saying, he's soft spoken, very
Yeah.
respectful, and made it nice.
And you can walk away from that being grateful that it happened that way, right? Because if you were out of state and somebody pulled you over, they might not have been quite so nice. And so it might not have been an enjoyable experience, but you're glad that it happened with somebody who was willing to say, hey, fix this, as opposed to trying to smack you down. Because
when I go into the courthouse now, and I say I'm spoiled rotten in this county, not because of being a JP or a chamber guy, but I go to the bank. I don't even remember the last time I filled out a deposit slip. They're like, hey, just give it to us. We'll put it. And I was always telling y'all spoil me. And I'm 54. And I'm like, okay, so, but I go into a courthouse the same way. And I'm like, can y'all tell me what to do? And they're like, oh gosh, Cody, you gotta assess your taxes. Then you gotta pay the proof of insurance. But every year I forget or I don't do it enough. And so I like to see our employees um, walk you through it.
Yeah.
Because I know if they do it to me, then they can do it for this 85-year-old woman that lives alone, that doesn't see well or hear well, or a 18-year-old kid that that's maybe trying to, so.
And that's something that I've appreciated about John Thurston when I worked for him, and what I believe is true for the current land commissioner, Tommy Land, who's retiring. This isn't in order to punish people or to cause problems.
Sure.
Right? Like
Sure.
we want to help them solve the problem. And then the land is only sold as a matter of last resort. And that's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
We have lots of opportunities to fix the problem, work with you, just try to solve it. In fact, going back to farmers, we were down in El Dorado the other day, and somebody asked about what the land commissioner's office could do to help farmers. And, I've had this conversation a few times with people. And one of the things I was thinking was, sometimes the money will come in, it just won't come in for a while, right? So maybe that 4 years, under certain circumstances, can be expanded a little bit of time. Just give a little extra time to pay. Now,
There you go.
I don't believe that the state should tell the counties how to do their business. And so I think that we could work together with the counties and see if there's a way that we could come to where we could maybe stretch those dollars a little bit longer. I know that could be a big ask for counties, so I can't promise that that's something that would happen, but being able to take some of these ideas and how can we practically really make people's lives a little bit better, a little bit easier.
Right.
It's really what we should be
That's
doing.
cool. I wish we could have Christian go with us to Cornport last night.
Oh, would have been a blast.
We would have been the coolest people there. Like,
Yeah, see.
like Christian Olson right here. But these, like being involved with the county and different things like that, and Eric and Colt and Casey and we're all, we just all went and joined the Republican, our county Republican Party, and
Very good.
trying to just get involved and be doers. Be good doers.
And one of the things that you really see, especially when you start getting active, is how easy it is to criticize and how hard it is to build something. If you've done a business, it's the same thing, right?
Right.
It's so hard to get the pieces together and build something, make something that works, and something beautiful, right? It's so easy to criticize, right? And so I think that's one of the best benefits of being active and getting involved, even when you're getting involved in something and that you're mad about, right?
Yeah.
Is that you do start to understand the complexities. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of us are dealing with right now is just.
Can we start over?
You're missing a good discussion.
I know. Catch me up real quick. Give me a brief.
Well, for Christians, pretty much just
I've rambled a lot.
Okay, good.
well,
I want people to see the person that you are, right? Because the family that I know, the Olson family, are amazing. Like,
you're awfully kind.
Little house on the prairie. No, it's like, I mean, y'all are great people. I mean, everywhere you go, you have that reputation. Just so you know, win or lose or draw, you have made more friends than you ever thought. Your introvert self and your
I appreciate that. That means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Well, he was just kind of talking about the doings and the daily operations and of the taxes and different things and how he wants to try to, or talking about just being easier, helping people, just going that extra mile and hey, let's work it out. Let's work together instead of just, hey, like
$3,000. You don't have it. Oh, well,
right. And being a human.
That's morals. I thought there were morals in politics and law enforcement. I think I was told that once.
Well, let me tell you, you go on votechristian.com.
Okay.
And you can look at Christians, his or I won't say policy on the first, but the most important things to him and his campaign and the way he conducts his life, the way he thinks about his family. And let me just read off a few things. And now, and the first thing I would ask was the pro fan.
I think you got a new fan. Most people are a fan of Cody Soesby, but I think Cody Soesby has a.
Thank goodness he's pro Second Amendment, Eric.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We're going to see here in a little bit.
Yeah. If it was daylight, we can go out there.
No, we don't need daylight. Let's see some large stuff.
Even set guns around these walls and stuff. But
I feel very safe.
pro property rights, pro fiscal responsibility. We'll go past that. That's not me. Pro small government and pro Arkansas. Like he wants the state to excel. He wants the state to do good. This is like getting on we're all on this boat and let's row together and make Arkansas awesome.
What is it? What is an end goal? I mean, 26 years in this industry. Where do you see yourself going? And then be honest. I mean, are you governor?
You might want to run. That's why I first said you might want to run.
No, Christian, honestly, and I mean this, guys. If you've ever had the conversation with him that I have, I mean, we talked about everything from the ant hill to the big hill up in Washington, D.C. And he has such a world of knowledge of how everything works, like in every aspect.
Yeah.
And that's probably from working for Asa and through your journey through this.
Can you tell us a little bit about working in ASUS with ASUS and stuff? Is that
sure?
Yeah, I mean,
no.
I mean, you talking about experience. Experience matters in this election. And
that's the thing that I was getting at with that is with your experience level, where do you see yourself going? Where do you want to go? How high do you want to go? Because I mean, you got the people skills. You're building this.
Just ask him if he's going to run for president. Yes or no?
Yeah, there you go. Are you going to be the next president?
His wife just passed out. But I mean, you got goals, and right.
So, like I said earlier, the most truthful answer is often the worst answer, right?
No,
it's not how people are looking for. So, the reality is. Who knows? I don't have a specified goal I'm trying to get to.
That's a 2-term limit, right?
It has a 2-term limit.
Okay.
I know a lot of people don't like the musical chairs that are played, where once the constitutional officer reaches the 2-term limit and they look for the next seat and go to.
Right.
I won't say that I won't look at another one, but I don't have another one.
Have you ever thought of running for a Senate seat or a legislator, a governor? I mean, you've got the knowledge, right? Like very few people go to be the governor that have that knowledge to be a governor.
If all the stars aligned, and we felt that that's what the calling was, then yeah, we probably would. But I've been around enough to know that political winds change really quickly.
Yes.
Family events happen really quickly that will really change and reorient your thinking on things.
Life.
Life
Yeah,
happens.
life happens.
And so, although as a young person getting involved in politics, yeah, I probably had high aspirations. Um, I know how trite this might sound, but I really just want to get in and do a good job. If I do a good job,
Fantastic.
then I
Excellent
would
answer.
love to be considered for something else.
Yeah.
Maybe,
You know,
but right
And
now,
then you could be, because I mean, statistics show, you don't always, once they get in there, they don't always stay that humble, good person, right? I mean, it's true.
here we go.
well, I mean, again, that goes
Tell us
to
what you think.
that, goes-
26 years and you're
that goes
still,
back, but that goes back to the idea of human nature and accountability, right? Like, as y'all know that you need to stop supporting me when I stop talking to y'all, right? I mean, that's
nah, I don't care. Well,
Yeah,
as long as
I
a good
if
person.
you think I'm doing a good enough job and you're happy, then
Yeah,
that's
we're
fine.
pretty low maintenance here in Cecil, Arkansas. You may find that hard to believe, but we're very low maintenance. We're trying to be. Don't be shitting in our backyard.
Still ain't that.
Yeah.
It's only one. Melissa, I used to keep on a sheet of paper and I would just make a mark. And I have filled up a piece of paper.
I've gotten better.
And I to the point where I'm just like, okay, that's the 5th shiitake. That's it. So Casey edits most of that out.
So, Christian, what are some of the other job duties that the State Land Commission?
So 90% of it is the sale of tax delinquent properties, right? There's a whole real estate division, there's a whole sales division, and then the other 10% is split up across some other things. So technically, technically the natural resources on state-owned land,
Right.
go through the Land Commissioner's office, specifically through the Natural Resources Commission, I believe, which the Land Commissioner chairs. And so if timber is being harvested on state-owned property, the Forestry Commission has to get permission from the Natural Resources Commission, and if they approve it, then they go out and then they cut the timber and then write a check to the Land Commissioner's office, and the Land Commissioner sends that check to the Forestry Commission. So it's kind of a convoluted oversight position, but there isn't really a whole lot of, let's grow, let's do all these wonderful things, in my opinion. What I think is interesting is that although the navigable waterways, like the Arkansas River, is that this direction, right? Over here. Okay. So the Arkansas River is run by in this room, I can't tell which way. I've been looking.
That's why.
I was looking.
2 miles over there. I know.
Hey, you pointed right.
I was looking for the moss on the other side.
Yeah. Country people understand.
But what? So the river itself is run by the Army Corps of Engineers, right?
Right.
If you want a lesson in bureaucracy, that's painful. It's the Corps of Engineers, right? But the dirt underneath is owned by the state of Arkansas, held in trust by the Land Commissioner's office. So when I worked in the Land Commissioner's office, I was working on policy on one end and then helping people pay their taxes on the other end, and got to learn all about
The sand. You're talking about the sand?
the sand and gravel.
Okay.
That's right. So the Land Commissioner does the sand and gravel leases on
That's
the
pretty
on
good
the
money
banks.
then.
So there is money that comes in through that.
Absolutely.
I don't think the Land Commissioner's office has a whole lot of say in how that money is spent. I think that goes to the general revenue.
Right.
Probably needed to be fact checked on that.
Yeah.
But as just having that connection to the waterways and the navigation channel and things like that was a lot of fun. Got to learn a lot about the Inland Waterways Trust Fund and how the federal bureaucracy worked, which is a painful lesson, but it's still interesting, right? But that's a big chunk of it. That's a big chunk of that 10%. That's not the sale of tax delinquent properties. But one of the neat things, and you mentioned this earlier before we got started, is the original land records. Yeah. So the federal government created the state of Arkansas out of the Louisiana Purchase. Our sister state is Michigan. And so when they started doing that, first, when they surveyed the Louisiana Purchase, they started in Arkansas, out towards Brinkley, right? The original handwritten field notes for the survey of the Louisiana Purchase are held in the Land Commissioner's office. So one of the things I did is I gave tours of our office, because there's a vault and it's waterless fire suppression. It's humidity control, climate controlled. to preserve these documents because they go back to surveying the Louisiana Purchase.
Wow.
And surveyors will still come into the office to pull their plat maps to find where the original lines are for properties, and it's really cool that it still functions that way.
Right.
But some of the really neat records, I think, because I'm a history nerd, Arkansas was at one time claimed by the Spanish crown, and people owned land then.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the Spanish crown transferred Arkansas and the surrounding territory to France, those records of who owned the land currently went to France. And then when Napoleon sold the Louisiana Purchase to the United States, those records transferred.
It's still out there.
And so we have the
Did you touch
original. They're pretty well protected.
Yeah.
But if I'd been elected, if I wanted to,
You can look at them. And that's not the only reason you want to be like commissioners.
I want to touch these little documents.
We're abusing power.
But as a position of trust, I wouldn't do that because the job would be to protect.
Trust me, Christian. I know you wouldn't. No.
Christian, we had Brian Norris on.
I think we should have a fight between one two.
Well, we started out.
You don't like me, man.
He got me fighting Johnny Crocker if we get 1,000.
Yeah, we started out with a good.
Where's the subscribe button?
Yeah, we started out with a good discussion, and before we were done, we're like, and I want to ask you some of these same questions. I'm like, okay, so, and he's talking about his open door policy, and what he's going to do when he goes into office, and we're like, take the doors off, take the door off the hinges, and we just wouldn't let up on him until he said, yes, we'll take the doors off the hinges the first day. So, and now before we let you out here, we're going to paint you in the corner, like, you let us touch those deals. You're going to let us, you want.
I mean, we really don't want to get in them doors.
I'll let you look. I won't let you touch.
Oh yeah, this is daylight and dark.
Yeah. But hey, so and that's good.
But they are both good, great for Arkansas. Like Brian Norris is a wealth of knowledge. Christian, you are a wealth of knowledge, and it's what I don't understand is why the state why we're not putting people with your credentials in place. But it's because of the voters, right? At the end of the day, it's an elected position, and then whoever's the bigger name, whoever's the bigger celebrity gets the vote.
Sometimes.
When we put these 30 subscribers behind him, that's chip around. So,
well, when Melissa gets on, we'll get a lot more.
Yeah.
That is true. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So she mostly posts pictures of the kids and recipes and things she's cooked, and I just watch those likes go up. Like,
yeah. I just saved all of Arkansas with this bill, and then there's like 2 likes. She's like, yeah, cooking broccoli and cheese.
What's her number one? What's her best meal that she cooks? Like, what's her strong suit to?
My favorite is the Salisbury steak. You get the steak, the mashed potatoes, with all
Western sizzling, or like very live. Which one?
Like a real stove. Like
we're talking, yeah.
Oh, real deal.
Yeah. That's probably one.
Salisbury steak. So
for breakfast, though, is her homemade cinnamon rolls.
Oh, come on.
Or the homemade.
Can they stay the night?
Yeah.
No, we just came through the holidays. So she was making homemade donuts for my 7-year-old's birthday. And then
That's a real thing.
Rolls for Christmas.
That's a real thing.
Randy makes donuts.
Yeah.
Really?
We just get biscuits in a bottle cap and push it in there.
Right. This is awesome.
Yummy.
I'm a bachelor.
Poor people have like all this.
Can Cody stay the night? I'm
So I would like to blame this on the campaign. But,
and I'm sitting there looking at my Python because we had Brian Olson and saying he just sitting there, he can't hardly turn, he's so bowed up, and I'm like, I remember looking at the podcast going, that dude is jacked, man. He is. But
he invited me to come and work out at his gym, and they film it, and I was like, I just slapped my. That's
gonna be a lot. I just got a paper cut. I think I'm gonna go to the ER.
Had a sore throat for 3 weeks.
I'm dying.
Hey, so is it, as I said, we're dancing around with questions and everything.
I do want to go back to one of the questions that was asked, which was about working for an agency.
Yeah. And you talk to you. You're about that. And can you shout out to Doug?
Hey, Doug Smith, thank you for helping me. Appreciate it.
You're a rock star. That's how Cody's get his money. Cody gets money on this podcast somehow, and if the bill says it's the famous, it's promoting. Hey, it was whoever Doug is. Give me 100.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Doug, if you're watching, you can send me. Won't you just send me a couple grand? Bro? Yes. But tell us about your time in Ace's office.
So one of the things I think is really neat. So a lot of people don't know Asa's history, right? They don't know that he was U.S. attorney, the youngest appointed in the country by Ronald Reagan. He went into very dangerous situations. He put on the bulletproof vest. He went in to negotiate. Like, he's not afraid to engage on tough things, right? I learned a lot about how much good can be done if you just bring the right people in the room to talk. I mean, so that to me, like, because I came up through politics, it was like us good, them bad, we win, you're out.
Right.
And that's not really what he did. It's not what we saw from him. It was like, we won, but the reality of Arkansas is always a little bit messier than what we think it is, right? Because life happens, right? And so getting people who know what they're talking about, talking to other people who know their side of what they're talking about, getting them to talk together, a lot of times can lead to much better conversation, much better information, and much better direction ultimately. Communication. Now, I'm not going to say that I agree with every decision he made or anything like that, but one of the things I don't think he gets credit on enough as a conservative.
He was a conservative.
He was a conservative, but and a lot of conservatives can name things that he did that made them unhappy, and I'm not going to complain or criticize that. But what he doesn't get enough credit for is actually reducing the number of state employees. There were 1,500 fewer state employees when he left than when he took office, and as Deputy Securities Commissioner trying to hire people during that time, I can attest to how hard it was to get approval sometimes. You had to justify the actual need.
Yeah.
And so
that explains a lot, because I was looking at expenditures, like when flights and hotels, just that's still taxpayer dollars that comes in that, right?
Oh yeah.
When Asa first got in, we was at 6.6 million. Pretty high first year.
for
Flights, for state flights and hotels.
just all
Hotels, across the board. Well, by his last year, he had it down to 2.2 million. He dropped $4 million.
Yeah.
COVID probably contributed to
A
some
little
of that,
bit,
right?
a little bit of that was COVID, but ultimately it was coming down before COVID. So he did this.
There was a lot of scrutiny on spending tax dollars, and that's something.
You know where we're at right now? We're
Yeah.
back up there at 6.5.
Are we really?
Yeah. And that, to me, that's a problem. And this lack of transparency, you can't see who we're paying for. I don't know where my tax dollar, because everything's hidden through FOIA.
So, well, I was going to say that's the importance of FOIA. So we talked about my first job before going to the Land Commissioner's office, and I was working for a think tank, and I used FOIA. It was my job to make FOIA requests, and at that time, the Attorney General, not a Republican, had been winning class action lawsuits, and then he was holding on to the money and deciding how to spend it, and not going to the legislature. And so part of my job was the FOIA requests. What about this? What about this? What about this? And going back to our ideas of human nature and people needing to be accountable, our side needs to be accountable. We need to be transparent.
100%.
I mean, it's good for everybody to have some transparency. So even though I worked for the state for 9 years, and looking back, I don't think that there's anything I'd be embarrassed about if it were FOIA, because I knew it could be FOIA. And so I tried really hard not to do anything like that.
Oh,
right?
trust me.
But again, some of the value of being accountable is knowing that you're going to be accountable, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
But not everybody has that same thought process. Like, well, the abuse of power is common in state politics. Maybe I'm my mind, because of what I've seen. It's more common, but you've seen it firsthand. You don't have to talk about it. But what I see is, in my mind, because the way that we were done here in Franklin County, government is bad, because the lack of transparency that they did to our place, the irresponsibility of our tax dollars, of what they're doing with the prison side. I'm going back to the prison here. So a simple-minded guy like me that hadn't voted in 20 years because I didn't care because they left me alone, my libertarian lifestyle.
You said,
I need like that. Let's make sure you're paying attention. But they, we've never had to worry about things like this. So now I've lost all full trust in government. So maybe there are some good, but in my simple mind, most are bad.
Well, our local government is really good.
Our local government is fantastic. I went to quorum. You went to quorum court last night. We all were in quorum court last night.
well, that's what I said. I wish they would have come up last night and we would have had a special guest and we would have been studs.
Oh, yeah.
Heighten up in here.
You said Melissa wrong.
Oh yeah. What I say?
You said Christian.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We talked a little bit about county stuff when you were outside and stuff, but go ahead.
I do think that when government is working well, you should be able to live your life without thinking about government. That's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
And I do think a lot of the times that what happens is 90% of government doesn't even change, really, when people go from, when you change administrations, you change, whoever's holding the lane commissioner's office, because the work is the work, right? 90% of it, you can change directions, but that 10% really matters, right? It's what gets talked about. It's a lot of noise. And it matters. It's not just noise. It's what gets the headlines. It's what gets the attention. And one thing I like about the lane commissioner's office is that the job is the job. It doesn't really touch a whole lot of things. You can put your head down, just try to do a good job and try to make sure that you do it as well as you can. And if you can make improvements, do it. But it's not really something that you're going to get in and just try to get a whole lot of headlines.
No.
So did you ever play basketball with Ace and Ace? Up on the court.
I did not. I got the invitation, but our firstborn son had just been born. And so playing basketball and getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I hadn't had any sleep at all.
Plus, he didn't want to lose to an old man.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like to talk about Doug.
I don't have skills when it comes to what I have is sheer aggression and stubbornness. Like I can throw myself in front of somebody and that's fine. But I didn't really feel like I should do that to my boss.
Didn't want to dunk on your boss.
I didn't miss the.
I don't think I could dunk on my boss.
We talked about most everything till we moved to the prison yet. Trish, is there anything else you want to kind of?
I got one. I got one.
Never mind.
One. I'm talking about profane and stuff. Yeah. Sorry, but what? Tell me what. Tell me your definition of a public servant.
Ooh, that's a good one. So, my definition of a public servant is somebody who is able to listen and find out where the problem is and talk to people and listen and find out where you need to go to solve that problem, and then puts the work into providing the way to get there.
Amen.
That's in a nutshell.
I didn't really understand public service or being a public servant. I didn't understand. I kind of tied into going to church and being a servant in your church. Working. I was raised in church. I was like big, loud Baptist family, but it took me into my adult years to understand being involved in church, not just going to church and worship, being involved in church.
Right.
And so I learned a lot, and that's just the last 10 years maybe, of being a servant to the Lord, but using those same things and serving my county and serving my chamber and serving, and so I love to see that, like on your website, lovechristian.com,
Are you paying them? How much is he getting paid?
That's important. That's important to see. It's important to see.
She'll make cinnamon rolls. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Lovechristian.com.
This is where I'm going to get the vote.
But I like to see that I look for that in candidates. I like because that comes with humility, and it comes with patience and an astronomical amount of trying to understand. other people.
I appreciate that. And because I'm conservative, part of that is because I don't think the government has the capacity to understand everything, right? When you
Sure.
look at free markets versus communism, there's so many things, right? You just in terms of like running a cattle operation, you've got inputs, you've got costs. The Soviet Union tried to centralize the decision-making process of the prices, and they couldn't do it, right? So why should I, if I don't think the government as a whole is able to understand everything and then do everything for us, why would I think I as a person can understand your problems better than you can? I can't.
Right.
All I can do is ask, and listen,
Sure.
and learn.
What is a conflict that the land commissioner office has? Like, what is a conflict? Like, do people ever call like angry in your time there? Was it like,
Oh,
they do really?
no, everybody's really happy that
Everybody loves dealing
Like,
with
how are you going to manage that? So, going back to
Right.
earlier in the conversation, somebody
So-
calls and says, "Hey, I owe $500."
So I think a good example was going back to Union County the other night. There was a attorney there, and we were talking. We'd met before. But he's like, "Yeah, I'm sitting in the commissioner's office." Like, "Oh, you're arguing that we didn't do the process right?" Like, "Yeah." You're like, "Okay, yeah, that's cool." And that's fine. There has to be a process where somebody can come in and say, "You didn't give notification. You didn't do this. You got the parcel number wrong. The boundaries are wrong. The legal description is wrong." Something, right? And that just goes back to accountability. If somebody says that we didn't do something right, then it should be fixed. We shouldn't. But there's a legal process for doing it, right?
That's right.
Because if you've already sold the property, you got to protect the buyer.
Yeah,
And
that's-
so and
it's a tough job, but when it comes
Right.
to that,
right. One of the really interesting issues that I'm not even going to begin to wade in, much less mention, is mineral rights.
yeah,
So in Arkansas, mineral rights are not generally separated from the property, but they can be, right?
Right.
And when they are separated from the property, then they're taxed separately.
Right.
So even though they're taxed separately, a lot of counties will certify those delinquent property taxes on the mineral rights to the land commissioner, but there is no legal mechanism for the land commissioner's office to sell those mineral rights. And so the mineral rights will end up accumulating in the land commissioner's office. And I've heard people talk about it, but I don't know that I've ever heard a whole lot of solutions about that. So I think that's an actual thing that would be an interesting process to get people talking about, especially with the counties, with the assessors,
So
the
is the land
collectors.
commissioner office holding mineral rights deeds to them now?
Yes. So it ends up being basically liens on them, right? So my understanding is if you have the mineral rights and you're not paying the taxes on it, you can still be the one collecting the revenue if there's functioning. And so you don't have an incentive to pay there's no incentive to pay the taxes.
you don't have to pay everything. Nobody's coming after you.
Right. Now, the other thing that I think is necessary to keep in mind is when it comes to the property itself, and I imagine it's similar with the mineral rights, is that if nobody seems to exist to own the property, and so there's nobody out there to pay the taxes on that property. So allowing it to go to public auction is a mechanism for getting it back into production, back into where somebody can own it and put it to good use.
Yeah,
And the
that
tax
makes
revenue
sense.
will still come. Yeah, it makes sense. So,
Yeah.
So when it comes to conflict, a lot of it is just making sure the job is being done is being done right on the front end. And then, being reasonable with working with people to make sure that if there is a conflict or a disagreement.
Who's in the right? Yeah, the law. You got to follow the law,
That's right.
and that makes it tough. That makes it tough sometimes.
We
Man,
can.
that's I don't know how long
I guess that'd be the depressing side of the story.
Yeah.
that he sees it, and that I mean, this has been very educational for me. I mean, I
Didn't realize how important it was.
naturally, just to be honest.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. As a JP, do you pay attention to the turnback funds that come from the land commissioner's office? Does that show up on your budget? Does that
We just discussed that.
Yeah, last night.
Yeah. It, yeah. And that was a huge part of the core importance conversation last night. I've been out of office about a year.
Whether they're not seeing it, right?
Yeah.
They're not getting it.
Yeah.
And
Really?
it's a big chunk of money, and
Well,
there's a lot of
it's going-
assistance.
It's going to learns, correct? Was that where
Yeah.
those funds?
That was my understanding last night.
It's part of why I wish Christian
Go
was
ahead,
there,
man.
because we could be like, get them, Christian, tell it, you know.
So typically 80% of the revenue collected by the Land Commissioner's Office goes into the public school fund.
Mhm.
And I was told, my understanding is that revenue goes into the county first, and then the county sends it to the public school fund. But
Man, I'm not sure.
You know, he was talking. I know Boba was talking about it last time. Yeah, I thought there was, but there was a lot of talk because that's what they were talking about with budget last night, and there was like $800,000 not accounted for. Not it wasn't that it wasn't accounted for, but it was that they didn't receive that they should be getting, and they got to do something to receive that money. Is that the same?
Yeah, there was a couple different things. Some delinquent things that haven't came through yet. She was saying like a month out, and then one of them was they had to do a tax return, which is the first.
Yeah, we got audited.
Yeah, to get some funds.
Whenever you openly go against the prison side of your county, sometimes you get audited at the same year.
That's weird.
It's,
well, I mean, my understanding is every city, municipality, county, state agency is supposed to be audited on a regular basis.
We are audited, the county.
it just happened about the same time.
I'm not saying they weren't looking a little closer. But sometimes I just depend on whether your auditor's in a bad mood or not.
When you don't have money, you know, it's pretty easy just to say, "Here it is, boys."
Yeah, my empty pockets. Yeah,
Yeah. You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip.
Well, this would be Eric's expertise. He's this retired military, or I would call her a superhero. And I really get, I just get Americana when we have some, you know, one of our heroes that hangs out with us.
I did that for you up there.
And
Thanks, buddy.
You like that?
Oh, the American flag.
you know, anything gun or the velocity or grains or whatever, we're loud and Eric. And so touch on some of your Second Amendment stuff.
Uh-oh.
Well, again, and just because I have a love of history and especially the American Revolution, for me, the purpose of the Second Amendment is never been about hunting. It's never been about even self-defense. It's been about the accountability we've talked about, where we're the boss, not the government.
That's right.
Right.
Fundamentally, that's what it's about.
Yeah. Good answer.
It's about respect.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Earlier, you said something about the ROTC. How far did you pursue that?
So Obama was president at the time, and I was not super excited about starting a military career with Obama in the presidency. Again, being a very political person, I spent a lot of, I enjoy ROTC. I excelled at the classroom stuff. I was a little bit slower in some of the physical stuff, but ultimately I had to decide whether I wanted to be vocal about my opinions or whether I needed to just
shut up, sit down, and listen.
Right. And I don't do well with just sitting down, shutting up, and listening. I'd rather be able to say what I.
Well, that's good.
want
I mean,
to.
we need people in there that are very vocal and that understand the way the system works. And that's just my thoughts on it, because that's what we're lacking in. You know, we're hiring these people, which you were hired on with lack of experience. You got that opportunity, and I excelled with it though.
And even though I got hired lack of experience, I was, here's the table. I was way down below here.
Yeah,
right. And that allows you to make mistakes. It allows you to learn. It allows you to
develop and to fail.
Yeah. Right.
Failing is the biggest way to get to the top. I mean, you keep failing and failing, you learn, and you keep climbing, and you keep climbing that ladder until the next thing you know, here you are running a statewide election.
Right. And
that's very awesome.
And
it is.
My cousin is career military, and so I have tremendous respect and admiration for not just the individuals serving, but for the families, because I think it's the families that don't. I think it's really easy for people to forget how much sacrifice the families.
Yeah.
Because I look at my cousin and his family, and it's a tremendous sacrifice, and it is an incredible responsibility. And I have just amazing respect for everybody who's put on the uniform and served well.
I think my wife enjoyed it when I was gone for a year.
I was going to say, mine allows the 2 weeks at a time.
I hope you make it back safe.
Yeah, it's no, it was a really neat time. I enjoyed it. I had one field training exercise though where I went and I was sick as a dog.
Is that PTSD?
It was a night land nav course.
Yeah.
And I had nothing in my pistol belts except NyQuil. Or Dayquil. And it wasn't until later that I
fall
realized,
asleep up there.
right, it was Dayquil, and it was April down by Lake Hamilton. And so it was like below freezing at night, and then it was 80 degrees in the day, and I had chugged that whole bottle of Dayquil doing it, and then like looking back, like it's terrible for my liver. Like, I shouldn't have done.
Yeah, but you could keep going for a long time.
And it was just a weekend land navigation course, and then went back up to UCA. I showed up to my first class like, I don't feel good. Just like, I don't want you here. Go to see the doctor. So that kind of that may have contributed a little bit to there.
It happens.
But no, I've always had the political bug, and part of it is because of the love of history and just
I mean, it's cool to hear your background and just it's beauty of a podcast. You get it's not a interview, and you're not on stage, and we get sit here and get to know.
It's the conversation.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like one of the things I like to say on the stump speech is in a Republican primary.
On the stuff speech.
On the stump. In fact, they're having an old-fashioned political rally up in, I think it's Pocahontas, in a couple of weeks.
Really?
And I really hope they have an actual stump. To
Yeah,
stand on.
yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Another $20.
But one of the things I like to say is in any primary, you get to have a choice between two people who will largely say similar things, right? Ideally, in a Republican primary, everybody's pro-life. They're for low taxes, small government. But really, the difference is actually getting to know somebody. And that means getting out and talking to people and meeting them and just having these conversations.
And everybody's different in every area.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. And we were talking about that on the way to look at the prison site today. It was like, because, we got Cecil people, Vesta people, which I think Cecil and Vesta, we're pretty much the same people. And then you go to Charleston.
Sub Rosa.
Oh, yeah, well, we went through Sub Rosa, but I didn't talk about it.
Okay.
That's new.
You missed it.
We don't want to talk about Sub Rosa. It's a bad, the Taylor farm was upset about Sub Rosa right now.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't you?
Wow.
And
I'm Vesta.
you might be Sub Rosa.
Yeah, could be.
So anyway, and then, you go to Paris, they're different than Charleston, and they're all different than Ozark, like all these different people. And then now I'm here, Searcy County doesn't have shoes.
They have shoes. They just have to travel for them.
Wow.
That's okay. Cecil don't have a shoe store either.
That's true.
Or Vesta.
So what have we grilled him on about everything that we could?
Yeah, I mean,
throw him under
but we haven't really talked about the thing that we got to see tonight. That was the prison side. Because this is what struck my interest with him running as land commissioner, which I know they don't have a lot they have to do with the land, and it's more of the delinquent taxes and stuff like that. But it's good to see, because I reached out to everybody. I don't care who almost everybody that governor's office, I don't care secretary. She's like, oh, yeah, I know him. Because I want to know, right? Like I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to him, and then we started talking about the prison and his job, and and he wouldn't give me an answer on it because he didn't know. And I told him, like, here's what the citizens of Franklin County see on this side of the river next to the site. This is our point of view. And still yet can't, he's just listening, and he's talking, and he's listening, and he's talking. And then finally, a few weeks ago, he decided that, after research, JPR, that doesn't quite add up. Like, things don't add up.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, and I think people, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have a slightly different recollection of how that went down a little bit, because so I do want to keep in mind that I know, because I worked in the governor's office under Asa, I know what it's like to be in the room and understand all the different considerations that are being put together, all the things that are being considered, and then coming up with something that works. And I know the difference of being in the room trying to figure that out, and then being on the other side of the wall, same office, just outside the door, and not understanding how they came up with that. And so I do want to be slow to criticize, right? Because I know that there's so much that I don't know. And so I'm always going to be cautious cautious and
Or a little more confident in what we don't know.
right. But that being said, I have said consistently for months that I'm a process person. I think that you can trust the result better if you can look at a process and know that people had input and then people had their say and that information had been considered. Because for me personally, one of the reasons why it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut sometimes is when I know that there's information that hasn't been considered. That's probably like, I'm okay if I know the information has been considered and you do the cost benefit analysis and you make a choice, right? I'm okay with that. What I struggle with is when when a decision has been made and it can't really be explained or justified.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so as time goes on and there's more and more opportunity to explain how we got to certain places on certain things,
Right.
like it looks more and more and more like information wasn't considered. It looks more and more like there wasn't a process that allowed for input.
Yeah.
Right. And so even though my office would have, virtually nothing to do with this
But
election
as
side of a prison,
taxpayer of Arkansas,
you want to know that a process has been followed where people could do input, because I don't think that any individual can actually make all the decisions that's best for everybody.
well, my
And so you
problem,
have to have a process.
this
for
is my
it.
problem with politicians is they trust that it will take place in that order because the governor's office says this is how it
You
is.
have to make that process happen.
They trust the process. And how do you trust a process that, as you see, the roads are horrible? It's been proven the water's not on the mountain, but we still have senators that trust that process because on the GIS report, it shows it's all there. It shows there's there's substations 7 miles away. It shows the water line running right in front of it.
And the workforce.
It shows, well,
Oh my God.
yeah. It shows the lighting. I'll have to send you the GIS report.
We were swatting off the crowds to get in here today.
Yeah. The process is what some of these senators are trusting. And this is where I lose trust in my government because this GIS department that comes in and says, and I'm not a political person by any means in the whole wide world. I'm like I said, the last person
You're getting there.
suspect. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just like an angry, disturbed citizen because with that NIMBY liberal libertarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Attitude. But
He's just trying to figure out what on earth you're talking
yeah.
about.
So what I'm saying is the problem is with the politicians that we have in Arkansas right now is they trust that process. The process is broken. It's proven to be broken right here in this prime example existence. And what's being done
For leadership, though, I think that's the fundamental challenge of leadership is that for leadership, they get to decide what that process is, right? Whoever's in charge decides how they receive information.
Right, and then them people are trusting that process. Cause I've had that happen so many times. I've heard that probably 30 times. It's like one of them like triggers, like trust the process. Like you're seriously going to trust this process? They're telling you the roads are fine. They're telling you the water's there. They're telling you the infrastructure and the electricity, the emergency response. You've seen the fire department.
Gonna build a new bridge.
We're going to build a bridge. It's going to be the most beautiful bridge ever.
Beautiful bridge.
yeah, it's just.
I mean, they told people that in the staffers that work for our governor, specifically said they were going to build a bridge, and they told these senators that to foot their vote. That is the state of Arkansas politicians that I know, and
Well,
so
that's-
you see why I'm aggravated and why I'm so
Of course.
passionate about
Yes.
this is because they believe it.
Well, we were fortunate to have a senator with common sense and street cred and respect and lived here. And also Senator Rice, he's been up here and I'm thinking of the people that's close to us. We were fortunate to have them.
You're talking about Senator Stubblefield. Right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Senator
yes.
Stubblefield.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
not to interrupt,
No,
but
go ahead.
I got to work with Senator Stubblefield when I was in ASA's office.
Oh.
And when you ask, how would you define a public servant? Well, Gary Stubblefield is probably how I would define this public servant because he did what he thought was right. And he was very gentle. He was very kind. He was very humble about it. But I don't think that man could be moved. He was solid as a rock.
Well, when you put him in a corner, he's got to fight. And that's what we're doing. We're doing that right now because we don't have representation, of course. But other than Brian King, Rice, and Benzo, and I mean, we've got guys that have really stepped up to the plate. Anything we need, call.
It's what Colt is trying to say, I think, and we Well, it's black and white. It's not a, we don't want it in our backyard. It's gonna have these lights and all these people we don't know. Yeah, that's some of it. I'm not gonna lie, but we have the FOIA emails. It's right there on paper for our smartest, wisest people that are in office, and they're looking at it. Nope, it's not place in Arkansas. And you just and that these country people are like, crap, no.
And that's what I
It's
get.
not, and they've lost they're
I
losing.
got
the
a
faith.
soapbox about it because, we don't need any politicians in position with that process. I know there's laws and processes, but you can't always trust the process.
Right. And I'm not saying that every process should be trusted. I'm saying that we as a whole would have a better idea of where this prison should be located if we understood what that process was. If the process was transparent and we had that allows buy-in, even if you don't agree with the final decision. Because if you understood the process, then you could maybe potentially say, wow, after looking at everything, maybe this is the best place. But I doubt that the process exists. You'd be able to come up with it.
Well, one of the hardest things, Christian, as a JP was being between the taxpayer and the judge. What and I, the judge made a decision. I was just representing that taxpayer to them. I would take those problems to them, and but at the end of the day, I wanted them to be happy. I wanted the judge to do the right thing, and it seemed like a simple process, but it just didn't always work like that.
Would you consider like a SAT criteria process?
Yes.
For prisons,
Yes.
Yeah. The SAT criteria that come from the governor's office.
Christian, I don't know if
No.
you can feel this, but we're moving you into this.
That's not a process. The process are the steps you take in
To
order
get
to
the
make sure that that criteria is
Is
actually
met.
being followed.
Right.
Right.
So would this be considered in part of that process?
You would think that it'd be a map for a process,
That's,
right?
That's,
You would expect.
that was our thought.
So-
when we first seen it.
Yeah.
So during JPR, when they were showing the clips of what was promised would happen, it'd be really nice to see evidence of what they said would happen having happened,
Yes.
right? But have you seen that happen?
No.
No, and that's
Is it-
where we're at with
It's like-
with the angry little citizens here in Franklin County. I get a lot of heart in us, and Cody's got more heart in it than anybody because he gets these really high highs and these really low lows because his fence line's right there, right?
Yeah.
I'm 4 miles away.
Yeah. When I talk about process, what I mean is a way for information to come in, to be organized, and then to be sent back out to where you can make hard decisions. Hard decisions have to be made, and they're hard, right? They're difficult. And just like you were saying, you won't make everybody happy. And so that's why the process has to be designed and followed. And it's the responsibility of leadership to make it this way so that you can get to those hard decisions. And even if people don't like it, they understand how you got there. They understand why you got there. So to me, when I'm saying I'm a process person, that's what I'm talking about. The process for how you get to something ends up being extremely important because even if you make the right decision, if it's hard, if you don't have the process followed where you can explain how you got there,
Yeah.
you've only solved half the problem.
Yeah.
Because you have to have buy-in. I mean, that's part of why we have a political system where you get to vote and you get to vote and she gets to vote and I get to vote. Is because
they buy in. That's
Well,
what
Melissa, who are you voting for land commission?
I sweat every time. Like, I do the dishes, do everything else.
Hey, Christian, what I just say, I encourage people to get involved in the process. I encourage them to run for city council, school board,
I agree.
and quorum court, or get on your church board.
I was talking tonight to Jared Hammond about how important the school board is.
Oh my gosh. Bruce
Yeah.
Westerman said that was one of the toughest things.
It is.
When I expected to be so wild, crazy. He's like, I'm telling you, that school board.
It's the
No,
most
that to
important.
me, it
It's
was
one of the
tough.
most important
it is.
things
Yeah.
that gets overlooked, and we need you got to have a really strong board
Yeah.
to make that work.
That's right. And one of the things is, well, I think is kind of funny is people will say, Christian, you're crazy for running statewide. That's got to be hard. I mean, it is.
It is. It's gonna be tough.
It's a lot of time in the car. It's a lot of time away from the family. It is tough. But to me, because I've been around a little bit, I look at local races and school board like that's the tough stuff because you're going to make your friends, your neighbors, your family, your like
Yeah, you're
gonna
gonna
make this
accidentally ran over somebody's dog 10 years ago. They're gonna remember that.
that's right. That's right.
Where I was running, when I was
Uh-oh,
running,
there we go.
I've been in Charleston and notable with people know I rodeo, got a lot of friends. And when the Fort Smith rodeo's in town, everybody,
And a great
like
reputation.
people, certainly am a sinner falling from grace, but I thought, oh, well, those people will vote for me. I'm not going to take a side over there. I'm not going to stop by so-and-so and knock on their door. I'm going to bother them. They're going to vote for me. You know what? They want you to stop and knock
They
on
do.
their door.
They do.
And they want you to ask for
They
their
do.
permission. And I learned that. And because when
I'm learning that too. That is crazy. That's a lot of door knocking.
well, he's
Yeah.
talking about all the places he's been to almost every county and we'll make all of them before this happens. And people it would be so nice to be like, we don't have to go to Washington County. We've got family up there because most of my family's from Ozark area. And I didn't think I needed to campaign in Ozark. I just had a confidence like, oh, my aunts, okay, all my aunts and uncles graduated from Ozark. I felt confidence will be good. Buddy, let me tell you, you got to go.
Well, that's why we need to go door knocking. We'll be like, vote for Brian Ellis, vote for Christian Olson.
Yeah.
Vote for Brian
Well,
King.
like I say, in the tens and tens of followers that we have on this podcast, we'll get.
They'll see that. Yeah.
And you can always go to votechristian.com and see all of these things. We didn't know.
Who does the website?
Do you have?
Did you do that?
I'm not the one who actually built it. My best friend put it together and made it
That's
work. Of course, I have a lot of say over what goes on there and how.
Of course you do. I know that.
It's really different to be campaigning for somebody and like, this is what they think. It's a whole lot different. You're like, what word reflects me?
Yeah.
Like, and when it's your name, it's a little bit
Yes.
it's a lot different.
So obviously you have besides the website, votechristian.com, what's Facebook and Instagram and you
Vote Christian Olson for Arkansas Land Commissioner on Facebook. Pretty much everything is going to be Vote Christian. We've got some videos that are going to be coming out soon that I'm excited about.
YouTube channel.
Got a YouTube channel. It's got like one thing on it.
Oh,
yeah,
but you got it.
but it's about to have some more things.
Okay.
On it. So,
But and as far as your website was, you can go on there.
you mean votechristian.com?
Votechristian.com.
I need everybody to test to make sure the contribution button works. So we've got $5 on there just to make sure.
Because obviously you go to votechristian.com, you can see there's a chance to donate.
That's right.
There's a chance to request yard signage.
Yes, we're getting yard signs.
And sign up to volunteer.
Yeah.
And one thing, like we're seeing this now in this race, and a lot of people that are involved in this prison fight, and you read social media of some of the local people, and I didn't even know. If you get on the website, take some time. Like I say, you sit on Amazon Prime for 2 hours.
What do you buy?
Spend 20. This example. spend an extra 5 minutes
What kind of
and go to
tickets?
votechristian.com. Scroll through there. Pro-life, pro-family, Second Amendment. I do. It's a simple, easy, free, cheap way.
Or you can message him on Messenger.
That's
on
right.
Facebook. You could text him. You could call him. It's pretty fantastic what you do. It's a lot. And
Thank you.
we appreciate people like you being in there. Either way, you're going to have a job to stay young, but you're too good at what you do to not have a job.
And it's possibly going to have a job working for the Franklin County Rough Riders podcast.
Yeah.
We'll have some other, but
I'll send them back with encyclopedias and dictionaries.
Well, I don't know about this. Cody gets all this inside money, so he might share with you.
Cole says all this stuff, not knowing how serious people will think this stuff is. Like, anyway, but I don't think this day and time, I don't think there's no reason why you shouldn't be informed of, and you still see it. Like, oh, I didn't even know. Can I vote? Can I? There's no excuse.
Well,
to get out and vote.
to kind of think to tie two things together, what you were saying about trust. It's kind of a cliche, but it's true. Where once trust is lost, it can be really hard to rebuild it, right?
Mhm.
And when people don't feel that the system works or that the system is fair or that their vote matters, then it's really easy not to vote.
Yep.
And if you
Yeah.
don't think it matters, who's the most qualified? If you don't think it matters, the experience, or you don't think these things matter, then it's really easy to just get cynical and you feel like
Sure.
you don't need to bother. But then even though you may not have been active, something happens and suddenly you really care again. So
Yeah. I say it all the time. In a win or lose or draw, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever, those candidates want you to vote. They want you to vote. Get out and vote. It's so important.
It's going to be very important. And we get a good voter turnout, and they know who you are and what you stand for.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that alone and the experience is enough. You should be in that position, like hands down, at a minimum, that position. You're overqualified for that position. You know that, right?
He can't say yes. I know I am. His wife can nod her head, and we all know.
Melissa, is he overqualified for lady commissioner? Hey, I'm telling you, the guy knows everything. He should be working for the governor's staff and helping fix Arkansas. Is where he deserves to be.
Won't you come over and put the headsets on real quick before we get in? Come over and sit. I'm going to be a boss. Put these head.
I was wanting to let him sit my spot. Look at
I will let you sit by
Cody's hot on this.
You'd rather sit by Cody? He's single.
Put the incident on right there. Yeah, don't worry. Put the headset on and y'all kind of get close to the mic there. I mean, we talked a little bit about this before we started and just like, you might have to scoot up and set your elbows on the table. Just get out close to the mic.
Talk to you, hear yourself, Melissa.
Hello.
Oh, that's such a friendly voice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scoot this over to you.
Okay.
Just it looks weird, but if you get right up on it.
Okay.
All right.
But those 2 inches make a difference, remember? So
Yeah.
maybe that's right on.
Plus, it's now the lady makes
That's it. And I get in trouble for saying a cuss word.
well, you've done.
How come he gets away?
You've done really well.
I didn't say you cuss words.
That well, this is the lady that
But that's politics right there, saying it without saying it. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
But man, this goes. I sometimes I want to start out like this goes without saying, but a lot of people don't know the sacrifice that the wives, or vice versa, the husbands, go to with a spouse that is in politics and running. Different between being in politics and running for an office and the sacrifices that you got to do. And it's
Because you can't make every trip. Right?
No.
It's impossible.
Right. And so how many times have you been away this week? Was this your 4th or 5th? We've only made 2.
How many weekends you had alone?
It's been a while.
yeah. And that's we laugh, but it's sad. That's part of the process. It's part of it. And
I think after today's adventure, the boys ain't gonna give steak at Cole's house. I think the dogs. You should have seen it with the dogs. They don't have dogs.
No, we don't.
I think we're gonna steal 1 or 2.
Hey, tell my wife that she'll love you for it.
but really, I mean, I don't want to get too deep and too serious, but it's a lot of sacrifice and trust and communication, just to make just day to day. It's day to day. And so anyway, what are some of what's some of the fun you had? I mean, some of the trips you've been and
Oh man.
who does all the driving in between?
Oh, he
Feel
did.
like we're at counseling, right?
Yeah.
It's
Blink twice if he hit you.
I will say this in all seriousness. I mean, I would not have agreed to this if I didn't know very well the character of the man that I'm married to.
Right on. Awesome.
And he is very overqualified.
He is.
I mean, he's
I'm biased.
commissioner.
Yes.
No, well, I am too a little bit. Just getting to know him and conversations we have, and I mean, he's just a world of knowledge, man. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
if you don't get it, we're going to be very angry in Franklin County. So you better win Franklin County.
He'll live in Franklin County. We're gonna make sure we're gonna have Eric go around and arrest people out. You see, he's got a mafia cap on there. That's how we get things done.
I wish I had one.
You gotta be cool.
I got to wear a wolf field.
But I'm glad we talked about it before we start recording and to want you to come over because a lot of times he does do all the talking.
mhm,
And part of this podcast, aside from telling us policies and his agendas and different things, is that we want people to know the real y'all.
right.
You know.
Right. We're real people. We're a real family.
Absolutely.
I took a minute to run upstairs because I was hearing some noise, making sure my boys aren't there. Your wife upstairs.
I didn't hear no leather belt coming off.
No.
They can tear it down, we'll rebuild it.
No.
Welcome to Cecil. They have-
No, they're living their best life right now.
So what do the kids think about Dad being in this position?
They have had a ball. I mean, now just like kids, sometimes when we have to go, we're in the car for a long time. Now that's a little tough for them because they're 10 and 7 and have tons of energy. But they have enjoyed getting to see that. They when he gets up to speak, they're the ones
that's
cheering
awesome.
the loudest.
Heck yeah.
That's cool what Dad does.
It
My dad's
is.
cool.
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
it's allowed us to really for Christian by example to teach them what leadership looks like.
Amen.
Um, And yeah, with boys, it's important
And they're very well behaved.
most of the time.
Now, every time I've seen them, the boys are sit there and they'll make like a peep, and she's like,
I get them
Got that
yeah.
when I drove up, they were outside playing, and I just stuck out my hand and introduced myself. They stuck their hand out and shook it. That
Yeah.
That's
Oh, they're
doing
doing
things right.
And the way it would be.
And so I said, "How do you?" And he said, 8 or 7.
He's 7.
7.
Yeah.
And the other boy's 10.
Mhm.
And I said, "Okay." So he said 7 and 10. I was like, "So y'all are 18 combined together." And they looked at each other. And I said, "A little vibe test real quick."
We have one of those.
That's at Roberts. They don't have that good public school education.
Yeah. That's why I talk about kids with personality. I love to see personality in kids, and regardless of what it is.
I want to be clear that before the campaign started, I don't think either of them really knew how to shake hands.
Oh, really?
How to shake hands.
Well, look, that's
I
a
don't think-
positive thing already.
Yeah, I don't think we realized that was something we hadn't gotten to yet until we hit the campaign trail.
That he's true. He'll be left-handed. He'll be right.
Well,
Seth is left-handed.
he may use
so-
his foot.
Yeah.
He
But as we started the campaign, we're like, oh yeah, we need to work on that. Okay. Here's how you shake a hand. Okay, yeah, okay. That's it. So I'm really happy to hear that.
they knew it flying colors.
Awesome.
minus the additional problem there, but we'll get that.
Oh yeah. I always start about every conversation off when it's something technical. I go, "Now I graduated 50 out of 52 people in my
Yep, same.
yeah, just to let you know how this conversation's going to go. But
Well, they didn't realize they was meeting a rodeo star though. they should have got their picture.
Yeah.
I mean, Cody's famous. Cody is a very famous. I'd say you're pretty famous across the whole U.S.
Really?
well, in my work, it just it's taken me my travels. I was blessed. I used to compete. I was a bronc rider and a bull rider.
Oh,
And
cool.
I won one championship, one world championship, but I was a kid. My dad rode bulls. My mom was a barrel racer. My family did it, and when in interviews I tell people I was forced to be a cowboy. And but I played football, played basketball, raced motorcycles, but rodeo. When I got done competing, like most athletes, I was done in my early 30s, and that's considered old man years in rodeo. And I never.
I bet you feel like an old man at that
Oh,
point.
You ought to see the way that Will's hit that barrel, and he just goes rumbling.
But I say I didn't pay attention in school, and I see my teachers at the grocery store now, and I'm like, Miss so-and-so, because I still call my teachers Mr. and Bessie. And I'm so sorry for me not paying attention. And I just felt like I have a business degree. I could be working at the co-op, and instead I'm getting in a barrel and bulls are knocking me across the arena, but rodeo has blessed me with longevity. I've got to stay involved, and now that I'm an old man, I still get to travel and still get to. It's a job. It's how I make my living. And when people say you're a radio clown, and they're looking for the big Ronald McDonald shoes or the big red nose. And I say, well, there's Ronald McDonald the clown. There's in my circus clowns, and there's rodeo clowns. But I'm a clown. That makes my living. I'm older now, and I have been able to contribute back to my community and do things for my family that I was blessed with longevity in rodeo. So I'm, and of course, you get with Doug, in here, and we can really talk about rodeo stuff, but yeah, and in rodeo circles, I've had some, I don't know what you call it, awards and success. I don't, and
he's well known. The
but-
salesmen come up to the rig in North Dakota, and they're like, how about Cody doing? I said, I'm just already just mad at me.
But this be like if you want to, to see your motocross or whatever, we have a circle of things, and just like this podcast, um, I have friends all over the state because I was a state competitor before I went to pros, and so, and same way with this prison fight. I've got rodeo friends because we're a tight knit family, just like any other group would be, and they don't like to see us getting beat up in Franklin County. Or my 83-year-old dad that was a rodeo guy in the state, and now they're getting on this old man Soulsby's land, and he's worked hard. So we the connections are a lot of everything for me. I think networking, I never knew how important it was, and so hopefully this podcast and people listening to it. Oh my gosh, it's not. But I said,
That's a 2-hour bar.
go down. That's it. Unrehearsed. Okay, there we go.
We're done.
But anyway, I look forward to my friends and across the state seeing this, and not just because Cody Sotheby says vote for Christian Olson, but I want them to listen to you, listen to what you have to say, listen to your
I
wife.
appreciate it.
And the life you live
Yes.
is what you practice what you preach.
Yes,
There you go.
Try to.
this is what we need in as leadership in our state, regardless of the position. We need real people, real morals, real standards, real families, and
knowledge. The knowledge,
Oh, yeah.
the history. I mean, that goes so far.
He said he was a history nerd. That was pretty cool.
Oh, you didn't hear him talk? Hell, he was talking about Spanish War.
I know. But
He wants to touch a pamphlet.
yeah. Well,
How'd you ever want to find a pirate map?
No.
Anybody who says they haven't is a liar.
I've been
Like 40 years ago.
Goonies. I said, haven't you ever? That ain't
Okay, you got me.
I get to looking at Facebook reels of gold panning and stuff, and I'll go down that
What is it?
gold panning and stuff. I'm thinking all these creeks and stuff. I was like,
I know, I'm
Man,
rich.
I can be distracted pretty easy though.
Well, I want to get Christian and Melissa back on the show before election or after he wins the primary.
Right. Let's talk about the primary. March 3rd.
March
March
3rd.
Early voting starts February 16th. We're 5 weeks,
Ooh.
5 weeks out from early voting.
Hey, I had Christian, Valentine's Day is coming pretty quick. Don't forget that.
So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
our
trying to-
anniversary.
Oh, it's your anniversary?
But on the second.
Oh.
Or a second.
You do all in one?
Do what?
So, no,
All in one?
we like to stay in for Valentine's Day and go out for our anniversary. That way we don't have to fight the crowds and we get the best of
You
both
got to buy
worlds.
some
We get
food
to
though?
I'm pretty low maintenance. I don't.
Yeah.
No, that's right. We
Is
for,
he gonna
for
Talk
us,
to Liz for a little bit, please.
but because we homeschool, for us the treat is to be able to get out in the way and have it just be the two of us.
Yeah.
Amen.
And so
So they're
Yeah.
coming to Uncle Colt's house and doing it little?
Yeah.
It may not leave.
No. Wait till they get in the guts.
plus with the anniversary being right after
Mm.
Christmas, we can be a part to shop for. Yes,
Bad thing.
I'm pretty
That's fine.
sure we're campaigning about our anniversary.
I haven't thought more than about a week ahead. This
Probably so.
Pretty sure.
Probably so. I want to make sure we just covered all the bases, you go to votechristian.com.
might be.
I'm sorry.
No, I was thinking, I think we might be.
I think we are.
Oh, no.
It's all good.
But
I agree.
we will have a lot to make up for when the primary is over and it's in sight. And so even though 16,000 miles is tiring,
Mhm.
that's a lot of time in the car. It's a lot of miles on the car. The end is in sight, and we had a little bit of break over the holidays.
Sure.
But honestly, it's so much fun to get out and talk to people, to meet people.
It really
Right.
is.
Melissa has met some of the neatest people that are
I
her
have.
biggest Facebook fans now. Every time she posts a picture of things she's cooked,
I was
or
gonna say,
baked,
and
or
that
it-
is a big deal right now. The
It's
sourdough
big.
bread,
Mhm.
those kind of baking.
Mhm.
she does sourdough
That'd be sad.
pancakes.
Oh,
She does sourdough biscuit. Like,
so not to put you on the spot, but when y'all come back, I mean, if you've been baking, maybe if you got some extra.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Don't worry. I will bring y'all some
Yeah.
goodies.
There you go.
What else do?
Well, I think that about covers it, Cody. There. I mean, Melissa, appreciate you, Jeff.
Yeah,
I kind
thanks
of
for
get to meet
having
you,
me.
and I hope everybody goes to the polls and they see the kind of people that they'll be voting for. It's kind of kind of neat. I know you haven't got to make Franklin County. Did you make the committee, the Republican committee?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I want to.
well, they only do 10.
Yeah.
You know, they only do 10. I think 9 or 10. They don't do
Yeah.
a full 12, so it's hard to catch the Franklin County one. But elections coming up, and if you want a true conservative Republican, this is the family. He's lived the life. He lives the life with
Practices what he preaches.
Well,
We're doing all the hard things.
Yes.
I appreciate that, and I do want to just say one more thing before we wrap up, and it's because Alyssa is sitting next to me. There he is. That better.
Yeah.
This campaign has been.
Hey, you're all close to wrap it up. You need to wrap it up.
This campaign has had some tough moments, right? It is hard. It is a challenge.
Sure.
And people say, they'll laugh. Your name's Christian. Did God tell you to run? My answer is no. God did not tell me to run. He hasn't told me not to either, though, right? So every time we had these hard times, there was a lot of prayer and thought and doubt, and then more prayer, and then eventually we got to having a peace that this is what we're supposed to do. And once we had that peace, which didn't come right away, but that has made it so much easier to go through the bumps and push. And it's talking about setting an example for the boys. I was listening to a sermon, and he was talking about the example you set for your children, right? Jacob was getting ready to bless his sons, and the character that each of the sons had was part of that blessing, and it affected the whole tribes. That happened in later generations, and that's kind of when it clicked. It's like, I can't quit. I can't give up, because even though this is a tough race, like you said,
It is. It's gonna be tough.
at the end of the day, when I look back, what's the example I set for my boys? Did I quit because it got tough?
There's a bigger picture.
There's a bigger picture. Do I want to be the kind of person who quits?
You put the
because-
work in. Nobody can take that away. You put the work in to get that spot.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And
I watch it.
Hey,
You a little creep. I just see you everywhere you go.
I got a phone call like, "Where are you at today? Where are you working?" on?"
Who's with you? I always get a driver.
Well,
Thank you all for letting us come on.
Well,
It's
thank
been
you.
it's been a pleasure to talk.
for
And
driving, this is going to be a 5, or 6 hour trip for you guys up here. But that's the kind of stuff that you do when you're
That's right.
when you're campaigning, and it's a sacrifice. But I just, once again, folkchristian.com. And I mean, I'm overdoing it because I've looked through your website, and anything I wanted to know about you or the campaign, it is on there. It's important to donate. It's important to request a yard sign. It's important to volunteer, and just I'll just say, call them, email them, text them. That's how you get.
That's
to know
the real
person.
asking
Also,
questions.
ask them.
Watch the reply. If you don't reply, try again.
Well, yeah, we're getting at with this election. People like, they hadn't called me back. I was like, they have seriously 5 places to be. This,
Right now.
yeah, right now, all at once, and people don't really know that. So have a little grace, but it's important to vote, and important to vote for Christian. So thank you
you.
guys
I appreciate it.
thanks so much. Don't forget about those seminars when you come back. Okay, all right, and
Maybe we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
The boys.
yeah.
all right,
Piper likes to shoot too.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like blast.
all right. Franklin County Rough Riders podcast, number whatever you think it should be. Yeah, Christian Olson and his wife. We just are. Thank you guys very much. Be sure like, subscribe, share, put it on MySpace, do whatever you got to do, and get it out there, and let's help get this man in office.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir.
Appreciate it.
And we got a fun
Button, dude, told us about 2 hours. We don't know how to turn it on.
Button.